This question is directed to you, Tom. If elected, you would be 76 years old, one of the oldest freshman members of Congress in U.S. history, and simultaneously one with no experience in elected office. Why should the voters elect someone with your lack of experience in elected office and at your relatively advanced age?
Okay. Thank you. Good question. I'll tell you this straightforwardly. I am in excellent physical condition. I think that people that know me can vouch for that. I would point out also that if you look at the major leaders in Congress, Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, none of whom are Mark's favorite people, Joe Biden, they're all within a couple of years of me. Dianne Feinstein is like 4 or 5 years older than I am. Now, as far as if I were in poor health, it would be different. But God has blessed me with good health. I've taken care of myself, and I'm well-versed and well-educated, and I can do this thing. People say, well, you don't have any experience. That's exactly what we need in Washington. We don't need to be sending up there these politicians that go back year after year and learn how to be politically correct. I am not politically correct. I'm not politically correct. I don't even agree with my party all the time, and I don't support Obama all the time. But I will support him when he does something right, and I will not claim that he's a Muslim or that he was born in Kenya or any of that nonsense. Okay? He is when he does something good, like he's trying to do, give humanitarian relief to these children that are coming across the border. And Mark's group wants to cut that off. He said, I need money. I need money to take care of these children. The law requires that we house them until I can give them a year. That's what the law requires. Oh, no, we're not ponying up on that. And I asked them, these same Republicans, right wings, are the ones who claim to be Christian evangelicals. I asked them simply to look at the mirror and ask, what would Jesus do? Do you think Jesus would be down there yelling obscenities at these people coming across the border and telling them to go home? I seem to recall that he made a statement like, suffer the little children to come unto me. And so it's time that we acted with humanitarianism in this country.
Well, I'm not going to step in that Ronald Reagan said he was not going to use Walter Mondale's youth and inexperience against him. And so, I taught my kids from a very early age to respect gray hair, because with a lot of gray hair comes wisdom. A lot of mistakes too, but I've told my kids that that's what they need to do. And so, age is not a factor. Really, the problem is not Tom's age; it's his ideological perspective. I mean, he believes that what we need is a bigger government. We need more money. What we need to do is make sure, he talks about humanitarian aid. I voted on a bill that would have almost $400 million for humanitarian aid. Where is it sitting? On Harry Reid's desk. He didn't sign that. And so if it's really about heart, that's the problem. Harry Reid doesn't care. What he's doing is he's sitting on something that could actually take care of those people. But the other problem is it's big business. You want to talk about those kids coming across? In May alone, 9,000 kids. Most of them not from Mexico. They were what they call OTM, other than Mexico. And they came across, and they're getting paid. The Coyotes get paid $5,000 per person. So it's big business. They make more money trafficking people than they do drugs. And when we have that, we've got to spend the time. We've got to close our borders and make sure that we have a secure border. And if we don't do that, we're going to continue to have the problem. We had it back in '84, amnesty that he supports. We still are dealing with the problem today. And so if we want to have a debate about immigration, let's have a debate about immigration and talk about it and see how we need to do that.
Right. Tom, what about those concerns about human trafficking?
Yes,
1 minute.
I have a minute here, right?
Yes.
First, I want to thank Mark for his comments about age. That's pretty much the way I see it too. And he's right about our differences being ideologies. We have a friendly relationship, and we just disagree on what the right role of government is. Now, as far as human trafficking, I read where these kids in Central America, especially countries like Honduras and Guatemala, are forced into drug gangs at an early age. They come here to escape that. That's where a lot of these kids are coming from. And I read where this boy who came like 7 or 8 years ago sent back $7,000 to his younger brother so he could come here. And so I know that you can call this trafficking, you can call it whatever you want, but I think that was pretty darn noble for him to do to keep his brother out of the drug game. So I believe that we have to step up to this problem, and I don't think we're doing it.
Mark, you have 1 minute. Do we have a humanitarian role here? Can we help at the border?
You know, certainly we can help at the border, and we're already helping at the border. The real problem is across the country, people are starting to get busloads of people. They're coming to their schools and their healthcare clinics. We have them in North Carolina. We have them all over. And the reason we have that is because the message went out. And I've traveled to Mexico. I've met with the president of Mexico to talk to him about this very problem. The message went out is that if you get to the border, you can stay. They're not going to send you back. And when that message gets out, what happens is it creates this business. And you talk about human trafficking. My daughter has been involved in human trafficking since age 15. It's very personal to me. She brought it up. We passed a piece of legislation each and every time human trafficking comes up. It's horrific. But for every story that we have of someone that was caught in drugs, it was really a minor story about big business of people taking advantage of kids, and that's what we have to see.